we have sought to speak to over 3,000 young men and women from Black, Asian and minoritised communities. And we've asked them about their lived experience in their efforts to get work, and once they're in work, what is it like? Frankly, the results are startling and worrying, deeply troubling, because what they've talked about is a culture that views them less than, some say discriminatory, some say they want to leave. I think at a time when we need to be nurturing as much talent as we can, we're turning it away, and they're leaving these jobs and saying it's not a good place for them. What we ought to be doing, if we are to unleash all this talent on our doorstep, is making sure that it's a safe space. It's a space where they're not just surviving, but thriving.
Some of the things we face as ethnic minority is rejection in general. In terms of looking for a job, it often comes down to who you know and the networks you have rather than the experience and skills.
So from the survey, I think there were two things that really struck me. One was the fact that ethnic discrimination is seen as the biggest barrier to career progression for young people, beyond many other what might be considered often issues that young people would face. And the second was actually the really small number of young people that are formally reporting discrimination when they experience it in the workplace.
The biggest thing, looking at my own personal experiences, would probably be labels and stigmas that are given to us as young Asian or South Asian individuals.
I had an issue with a senior colleague who wouldn't allow me to kind of state how I felt in meetings, and because of that I kind of felt isolated and alienated within the workplace.
A third of those young people who say they face discrimination have referred to racist banter, if you will. It's never banter to use racist language in the workplace.
A lot of the kind of discrimination that the research talks about is like really subtle, hard to report, hard to identify, and I think it makes sense why people don't feel comfortable to report that to their manager, because it was just a joke, or it was just a little comment, or they made a mistake, they misjudged me for like a junior member of staff. But all those little interactions, they build up something really important.
Particularly at such an early stage in their employment journey, to suffer that knock of confidence is really devastating. And it's noted in the evidence that that has a particular impact on young women. So we then see the impact of both ethnicity and gender coming together.
One thing that resonated with me is the loss in confidence. And 45% of the females felt this way, and honestly I expected more, and I wasn't surprised of this, because this can be down to societal expectation, double standards and the lack of representativeness. I always felt that I was left out, not only just in the workplace, like in school and things. I had to go above and beyond just to be noticed. I was overlooked.
An observation of peers around me is that having a good job and a good employment really is transformational. Like a job really links to mental health, well-being and everything that surrounds you. And without that good job and fair opportunity, really a lot of problems in societies will happen, and young people will always be at the center of that negative impact.
This data is a wake-up call for employers, for politicians, for wider society. We get it right, and it's a win-win. We get it wrong, and we are wasting talent. We are not giving hope. We're being unfair to a generation.
My message to employers: in order to get it right, you need to take a zero tolerance policy, you need to educate yourselves and others within your workplace, and you need to listen to the statistics, because they tell the truth about the impact that this is having on young minoritised people.
I think these survey findings are absolutely critical for employers, and the reason for that is just look around you at who you are serving. To serve those customers well, you need to understand where they're coming from, and young people can give you back loyalty when you invest in them in this way.
So definitely not just having tokenistic photos or tokenistic meetings, but actually having discussions rooted in trying to understand each other and trying to be empathetic, really.
It was hard for me to see in a typical corporate how someone from a working class travelling background could become a CEO within a business. It's just unheard of. But you're only going to get that when you've got individuals with that lived experience on the other side.
We do training workshops on so many different things, but we never actually do a training workshop on the different cultures.
Data matters. You know, the reason that we've done this survey is because actually, in terms of official data, often ethnicity isn't always included in that, and especially more granular views on ethnicity aren't always included. And we believe that actually that should be the case across the vast majority of key government statistics, especially when it relates to the workplace.
As the chair of the Future Voices group, it makes me really proud that Youth Futures has made this research, not only because it gives young people from ethnic minorities a voice, and it demonstrates in like very clear and simple way what is happening, and just how pervasive it is and the impact that it has, and it really strengthens what young people have been saying about what the workplace is like.